Welcome to the Talking About Noise podcast. I am
your host, Art Moore. Oh, dang it.
And this is your other host, Eric Hansen.
Eric Hansen. Okay.
Oh, man. Anyways, we are excited to be here. We've got some great content for you today and some meh content as well. So,
and some really horrible content.
Some stuff that, let's just say, it's okay. It's not great.
Actually, we should put little markers in the podcast. They just hit the fast forward button and it goes right past to the next topic.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
It's like, this one's boring.
This segment is boring. I do not accept it as being something I want to hear.
And look at that. The podcast is over.
And the podcast is done. Yeah.
So
we're going to make you listen to everything because that's how we roll. No, I'm just kidding.
Busy week, right?
Yeah, the busy week. I had a children's choir come in for a recording session, which is always fun. Recording choir is like another aspect of recording that most people don't get a chance to do. And
wow, children's choir?
Children's choir with a piano, flute, director. We had him here in the studio, actually. Wow. So it was really fun.
How many kids?
I think we had about 20, 25 kids. So It was big.
In here?
In Studio A of Artmore Studios. There's only Studio A. I don't have a Studio B.
No. Studio B would be the room over there.
No, a Studio B has
Studio
like another
C would
control
be the dungeon.
room. So all I have are the rooms of Studio A.
And you should label your bathroom as Studio D.
As a bathroom, maybe?
Studio D.
Actually, I do use the bathroom to record guitar tracks in. So I'll throw a guitar amp in there.
Nothing says rock and roll more like sitting on the toilet playing guitar.
Yeah, exactly.
If you could just sit here.
I don't put the person in there. I don't say.
And really get it going for me.
I don't put the performer in there. I don't say, here, this is your recording space. Don't worry about the rings in the toilet. And, that smell, you'll get used to it after a while. I don't do that. And the bathroom is clean as well. So there's no weird smell.
Oh my gosh. Wow, Home Studio 101.
Home Studio 101. Anyways, we had a full choir in here, and they were fantastic. It was a lot of fun to hear. The interesting thing is getting the choir to be able to hear the piano while getting good separation so you can mix it later. And that's never easy. And
that's a good point.
When I record piano, I record the MIDI and use a software instrument to get that piano sound like a sampled, grand piano. I have several of those that I use. And so that's what I do with that. And,
Couldn't do it this time?
No, I did. I did that. But then the choir also has to be able to hear the piano to sing in tune and go with that. And I don't have 25 pairs of headphones to start handing out.
That actually would be a nightmare. To keep track of.
Yeah, to keep track of. It's too loud for me. Oh, crap.
What's your number?
I don't remember. I'm only 9, and I can't remember that. Oh, okay. So we didn't go with that. What we did is
I'm only 9.
It's a children's choir. And so what we ended up doing... and when they record big choirs like the Mormon Tabernacle, how many people are in that choir? Like 300? They don't give everyone headphones. They just record them in a room.
Yeah.
But we had my electric piano in here, and I just let it we turned it down low enough so the kids could still hear. But so the microphones picked that up as well. And then I layered on the sampled piano, which sounded fantastic. Just enough so you can hear the recorded piano, or they blended together, whatever it was, it sounded pretty good. So it ended up being a good project.
Good job.
And then they had a professional flautist come in, so we stuck her in the blue room and recorded her completely separate. And that's when I did start handing headphones out to the director and the pianist and the flautist. So,
why is it called a flautist?
Why not?
Because that sounds like a Mexican food.
It sounds like a Mexican food. That's interesting.
The flautist.
The flautist.
Shouldn't it be the flutist?
No, definitely should not be the flutist.
Why not?
Because that's weird. For some reason, that feels weird to me. It could be the flutist. That's what a lot of people say.
Classical people.
Okay. Whatever, you weirdo. Listen, classical music laid the foundation for rock and roll, R&B, rap, jazz, everything. If not for... okay, I'm going to stop on that rant because nobody cares.
Nobody cares about the flautists.
Especially Justin Bieber.
Seriously, that sounds like someone that should be making Mexican food.
Yeah, maybe.
Anyway, let's move on to news.
On to some news.
Okay. I got one.
What's going on?
I got two. I got three.
Well, I have a couple too.
I got a lot of news. All right. Get this. Chance, the rapper. Not Chance, the guitarist. Or Chance, the R&B artist. Chance, the rapper, made Billboard charts history this week.
Okay,
so get this. We've talked about streaming services before and how complicated the whole system is.
Like a lot.
Billboard decided to include it into their algorithmic system, into deciding who gets number one on the charts.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, well, they did it like 2 years ago. Anyway, they have some weird algorithm that says if you have 1,500 streams, that counts as 1 unit being sold.
1,500?
1,500
is 1 unit. That's like one download.
Isn't that crazy?
That's a one. How big were those CDs that contained a single back in the 80s? Okay, keep going.
Yeah. Okay, so Chance, the rapper, reached number 8 on the chart because he had 57.3 million streams. So if you do the math, that's the equivalent of 38,000 copies sold.
Okay.
Which seems like, man, that is 1,500 streams equals 1 unit. Man, that's harsh.
Yeah.
Yikes. Anyway, this is the first project ever to land on the charts thanks entirely to streaming. As artists continue to partner with platforms like Apple Music, Tidal, and Spotify, and the importance of music streaming will surely grow as time continues onward.
Yeah.
The article continues to say. So I thought that was interesting that you have to stream a lot of stuff just to consider having sold anything. Anyway, good job, Chance the rapper, making streaming music worth it.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think it does highlight the music industry and what's happening with streaming rights and with artist rights and all that kind of stuff. There's no good solution to it, but it's the world we live in.
Anyway, I thought it was cool. Little tidbit.
Yeah.
Your turn, Art.
Okay.
Give me news.
So,
give me news. Give me fire. Give me that.
I don't know how you spend your free time, but I often
playing Dark Souls
with my wife will watch a BBC show.
Oh, playing Dark Souls. Wait, what?
You played Dark Souls with your wife?
No.
That's pretty impressive.
That would be awful.
Would it? Is she good at Dark Souls?
No.
Does she enjoy the Dark Souls lore and universe?
What do you think, Art?
Okay, so I watch TV with my wife, and we will watch, British shows sometimes.
Good.
There's an article out here on rts.org.uk, and they're talking about audio on set.
Hey, I saw that. Wait, that's because you posted it.
Yep, I posted it to my Facebook. Follow me on Facebook at... Facebook. I don't know the link. I don't have it on top. They don't have like an at Artmore
Follow
Studios
me at
like
thefacebook.com.
Thefacebook.com. Anyway, so it's very interesting. People who are not audio people are getting angry that the audio on some of their productions is so poor, and they had an audio guy come in and actually talk about it, and he says. The levels are not the problem. The whole nation can hear an actor mumbling if you bring up the levels. The actor is still mumbling. There's an entire culture of denial at the BBC, written guidelines, a set of trainings. They're pointless. And so what's happening is people aren't projecting. You are getting just like bad audio at the source. And I don't know if you've noticed this while watching TV. I often will watch something and it's so hard to understand what they're saying. And then they do crank the gain up as high as they can, and then compression hits it as well, and so you get this, and then I was off to the so you get that terrible compression white noise in the audio, and it makes some TV shows absolutely unwatchable.
I get that all the time. Like, something will happen. I'll be like, "What did he say? I want white underpants."
Exactly.
I do not understand that.
And
we'll even rewind it and rewatch it and I still have no idea what.
I almost watch everything with subtitles now because I cannot.
Oh, you're.
Well, I have a deaf son, so that's kind of something we do anyway. But
okay, I can't make fun of you for that.
No, I mean, make fun of me, but I don't care.
Make fun of me, but you're going to be a jerk doing it.
Just know that our listeners may not appreciate your anti-deaf sentiment.
It's like punching a nun. You're going to win the fight, but you're still a jerk.
You're still a jerk. I like that. Anyway, I don't like punching nuns. That's not what I'm saying.
Art officially condones the act of punching nuns.
So
on this
think
podcast.
I think that this is really interesting, and the takeaway from this is get it right at the source. Work hard to get that microphone in the right place, and to do this. I actually lent my studio kit, my local kit, including the my boom mic stand, and I have a shotgun mic to some friends who were doing some on-location video.
You have everything.
And they came back and they're like, man, the mic didn't work. I was like, oh, okay. How close were you? They're like 20 feet away from him, hoping that it was going to somehow it be magic and pick it up like it was it went out and grabbed the audio and brought it back. And they were like, none of the audio was usable. I was like, well, you got to get that thing right as close to them as you can, point it in their direction. All that the shotgun mic does is reject sound around. It doesn't go out farther. It just rejects sound.
Unless you get one of those specialty spy microphones.
So parabolic microphones are a completely different thing, not generally used for audio production.
And there's a reason.
There's a reason for that. Anyway, thought that was interesting. That's what I got.
Does that have the comments on there?
Do you want to hear some comments?
So no, go to the top comment. It was really funny. Or wait,
let's see.
Was it a comment on Facebook? Maybe it was. It
could have been a comment on Facebook. No comments on this.
So it was an old dude that was like the top comment, and he just sit there. It was like an old man rant. Well, back in my day, when they actually paid people right, and you have these younglings come along and don't know what they're doing, and it was really funny.
Well, there's some truth to that. If you don't pay for the audio equipment and the audio engineer to do the job the right way, you're going to end up with bad audio. And if the director is like, say it as quiet as you want, we'll capture it. It's not going to happen.
Who says that?
Apparently everyone at the BBC. Because that's the problem they're running into. We have people.
Is this ruining your Doctor Who watching? Is that the problem?
No, Doctor Who's just fine because they're always yelling and running in that show. But I'm trying to think of the show. Oh, Selfridges. We were watching
Inspector
that.
Spacetime.
And I was having a hard time hearing something, and I thought that was interesting, and this came up. Inspector Spacetime.
I usually
which is from Community. That's a very funny
We
thing.
only watch... I can't think. Sherlock. That's the only thing.
I've had that problem in Sherlock a little bit too.
We watch that's the only BBC program.
Yeah.
My wife will watch Downton Abbey, and I can't stand that stuff.
Downtown Abbey.
If you do that, if you walk into a gaggle of women talking and say Downtown Abbey,
they are not happy.
They will throw things at you.
They will throw things at you.
I got stared out of the room.
Eric, that's probably because you walked in there without any pants on. That's probably what happened.
Oh, well, it is my house.
What you got? You got something else? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so check this out. I don't know how I'm going to approach this exactly, but let me just say this. So, a bunch of French music festivals have dropped the band Eagles of Death Metal because of some of the comments that the lead singer made.
Oh no.
Okay.
Are they discriminatory in nature?
So if you remember in the Paris attacks,
that's right.
The Eagles of Death Metal were performing,
all right,
and that was where the attacks happened.
I'm on
the
board
place
now.
that they're performing now. Okay, so they were actually invited back to perform at all these festivals, which now they are canceled. They're not allowed to perform because lead singer Jesse Hughes went on to Fox News, Fox Business Network, of all things, and said that the security guards had inside knowledge of the terror attack and decided not to act, that French gun control couldn't stop a single person from dying, and if anyone can answer yes to having French gun control stop the killing, I'd like to hear it, because I don't think so, stuff like this, right? So pretty
very interesting.
Inflammatory stuff.
Yeah, very conspiracy theorist type stuff. Yeah.
Right. And so he went and apologized for the comments. But that didn't do enough because the French tour still canceled him. I mean, they've been canceled to a lot of places. So here's the thing. I've decided, right? If you're a band, the Eagles of death metal, okay?
Yeah.
And you make inflammatory comments, double down. Double down. Don't apologize.
Go all the way?
Go all the way.
Go full Dixie Chicks?
That's the thing is like... I don't know. I feel like celebrities say things off the cuff, and then they're like, I'm so sorry. I just don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah, that's true. But then you get a Dixie Chick situation where they go anti-Bush and they get smashed.
As I said before, you got to appeal to your audience. If you are labeled the Eagles of death metal,
I
double down. Yeah. Be who you are.
So go.
This reminds me of the time when Iron Maiden performed at a show, and they stopped playing because people were throwing things at them.
I remember hearing about that, yeah.
And I was like, guys, you're like one of the hardest bands in the world. You're tough. And you're going to get offended because people are throwing things at you? Like, deal with it. I saw Green Day get completely muddied because they were covered in mud from people throwing mud and other items at them.
That's so crazy.
You know, so I don't know. A part of me is just like, stop apologizing. Like, if you're going to say crazy stuff, just be crazy. Just be who you are.
Yeah.
The other thing is, if that's not who you are, think before you say something stupid.
It's hard. It's hard to do that.
Yeah, but okay.
Where does
you're
where
going
does
on
death
Fox
metal,
Business News, right?
Where does death metal run the gambit on conservative versus liberal and that kind of thing? I'm not sure where they're standing. Like, are they for gay rights? Are they not for gay rights? Is it a per band thing? I don't know.
This would not apply to the whole genre of death metal. You think there's a consortium of death metal?
No, I'm just saying, like, with together? Country music, they tend to be a little more
the group
conservative.
Of death metal decide that we like gays.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying at this point. I've lost my point.
So he went on Fox Business News, okay? You know you're going to get asked these questions because you were there.
Yeah.
So make sure you got your stuff together. Get your stuff together.
Get your stuff together.
And make sure you're making sense. Don't go on there completely high or drunk and then have to apologize later.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
I actually think that's what happened.
You think he was high or drunk?
Probably.
And just like spouting off about all this
just
stuff?
like...
That's so interesting.
And that's kind of the stuff that network people want. They're like, hey, if you could say something that would,
Yeah, I'm sure that they push for that kind of thing.
Or they'll poke and prod. So what do you really feel about that?
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, I don't know. I feel like they kind of let me down. Eagles of death metal, not so death metalish.
So I see how they let you down. For me, it's okay. At first I thought they were letting you down by their comments in general, and now I'm realizing that you wanted them to go next level with their comments.
No, not next level. Just double down. Just say this is what I said, and I stick by it. I'm not apologizing just because I want more money. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah,
I offended people, and my revenue stream will decrease. Therefore, I must apologize. No, just be like, I'm going to deal with it. I am who I am.
And for me, it's more the concert organizers. These guys went through a lot. I think they get to talk about it and to say what they really feel about it. And they should be allowed to perform. Let them perform. Let them play.
No. As a concert organizer, you reserve the right to refuse, revert.
Nope. Hand to the face.
Anyone. I can't even say it. No shoes, no shirt, no service.
It's pretty sad how you can't say it.
I refuse the right to reserve the right to refuse to... oh, gosh.
That's pretty funny. All right, we're moving on, folks. Today, I want to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart. Microphones.
What did you just say?
Near and dear to my heart.
Okay.
That's what you say when something is near and dear to your heart.
Okay.
I'm not sure why this is a surprise to you.
No, I thought you said my bones.
My microphones.
Oh, my microphone. I was like, your bones are near to your heart.
All right, Art. Whatever.
Pun, great.
All right.
Okay,
you guys can hold on for 1 second.
Microphones. Got it. For those that are new to the podcast, we are expecting a lot of new listeners here shortly.
Yep.
And a lot of new watchers.
Yep.
YouTubers. Art loves microphones.
I love microphones.
He has an unhealthy obsession with microphones.
I do have an unhealthy
Beyond.
obsession. Today we're going to be talking about ribbon microphones, and this is the MXL R144. It is an inexpensive microphone. It is ribbon, and if you mod it, it can be a very, very nice microphone.
Wait. It could be a nice microphone before you mod it, too. Come on.
It is an okay microphone before you mod it. Yes, it's not as high-end as a Royer or even as, like a Cascade Fathead. But once you've modded it, it really does kind of open up, and you still get a lot of bottom end. So EQ is important when you use ribbon microphones. The interesting thing about ribbon microphones is that they're not built with a diaphragm. Like this is a large diaphragm dynamic mic, as is this, and so they actually have something that moves back and forth in that way, and then the electricity kind of monitors that. This guy is, instead of a diaphragm, there is a small ribbon of aluminum foil, and it's not really aluminum foil.
The name ribbon
microphones, and it's corrugated, so it is like bent,
wavy,
back and forth. Yeah, it's wavy. That's a good way to put it.
For those of us who don't know what corrugated means.
Yes, thank you. Although obviously you do know what it means, so we appreciate you bringing that up to our attention. There are two natural magnets on each side, and you can kind of see through the thing here. I probably should have taken this apart so I show it to you on YouTube.
I love that you're just like, hey, we should take this apart. Let's do this.
But there are two natural magnets on each side of the ribbon that monitor its movement back and forth. So this is the MXL microphone, and I really like it. This one I actually use mostly on vocals, and I also use it as a second bass drum microphone. So I'll put it off maybe 3 or 4 feet, and I'll actually angle it downward 45 degrees. It will still pick up the bass drum, the big boom of the bass drum. But because of the way they're made, ribbon microphones have a figure 8 pattern. So all around the top, the bottom, and both sides, it rejects sound. So if you angle it at a 45 degrees, you're going to, especially if you put it in front of a drum set, you're going to eliminate a lot of the drum set, the toms and the cymbals, from your sound. And what you end up is a big, boomy bass drum sound. It's really, really cool. It's a fun technique. Now, I have another set of microphones here.
Get ready for this.
And this one comes in a case, so you're going to hear me kind of clanging around.
This is mafia style. We're bringing out $100,000.
Yes, not that much. So these microphones are made by Cascade. They're called the Fathead 2s, and this is a stereo pair. So these two have been specially made to sound as close to each other as they can.
Watch this. We're totally going to sell it.
That's
We're totally
right.
going to sell it. Here it comes. I'm bringing it out of the case. I pull off the wonderful cover.
They come with a cover. They're nice and beautiful. This guy's got a gold head.
Look at that. And they work together.
Right,
gold, big, fat head.
that's right.
Because they're called
The Fathead
Heads.
I love these mics. These mics are great. I've used them on acoustic guitar. I've used them with drums. I've used them as vocal mics as well. They're fantastic. Now, one of the things, if you are a home studio guy, owner, and you've got a decent condenser and you've got a good dynamic mic, you might consider grabbing yourself a ribbon microphone. And the reason for that is this. When I have especially female vocalists, but I've had male vocalists come in as well, and they just tend to be a little shrill. And you can't EQ it out. It changes the tone too much, or it's just really hard to get that to sound warm and soft. I'll pull out a ribbon microphone and put it in front of them, and it will help take that shrillness out.
And that female vocalist will love you forever. She'll be like, this is the best microphone.
She's like, man, this mic sounds so good on my voice. And you're like, yes, it does. That's why we have a ribbon microphone. That's why we got it.
That's why we invented
have it here in the studio. So I would like to play you some samples that I have prepared. One of the things that I did was I took the I took I recorded some drum tracks here, and I used the ribbon microphones as overhead microphones, and I also used a pair of small diaphragm condenser microphones as overhead microphones as well. And we're going to play between those two and see
which one's better.
Which one's better, what you like, and how it works. Now, let's talk about the other, like our control group, if you will, our bass drum microphone and our snare drum microphone. If you're listening on the audio, you can't see this, but Eric is on the MXL BCD1. It's a large diaphragm dynamic mic. I am on the Heil PR30B. And it's also a large diaphragm dynamic. I used both of these as the bass drum and the snare drum mic for our tests. So that stayed the same for both examples.
Cool.
So what I'd like to do first is play for you the bass drum and the snare, so you get kind of an idea of what that's going to sound
without the overheads. So
no overheads,
no
at all.
ribbon microphones
That's right.
whatsoever.
So you can hear how that guy kind of sounds. Of course, there's no
Sounds so good.
There's no overhead to make that sound good at all. So we're going to start off with what is the standard with the condenser microphones. So we're going to hear that. Okay, I think that sounds pretty good. I like that sound.
Got some overhead in there.
Yeah, that's a pretty standard drum sound, I would say. I like big boomy bass drums, so that's
Yes, you do.
That's kind of how I mix them. You might not like that, but that's what I do. Okay, and now we're going to take a look at the overheads with the ribbon microphones. So kind of an interesting sound. The first thing that points out to me on this example, and you know what I did? This is so silly. I added EQ to that. Let's listen to it one more time without EQ.
I was going to say.
Yeah. Here it is without EQ.
Take out the EQ, but I didn't say anything.
Okay, so that sounds pretty good. Here is the example with the condenser microphones again. Again, with no EQ.
So huge difference. Huge difference right away.
We're one more time with the ribbons. We're going to end there. Here it is. Now, there's a couple of things that I find really interesting about this. Number one, definitely not nearly as much high end. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't have that. It's almost now that I hear the ribbon, I'm like, it's almost kind of like a crackly sound, or like a almost like a
brittle sound.
A brittle sound. I like that word better.
There we go.
And then the other thing that sticks out to me is the stereo imaging of using ribbon microphones. Now, you can set up microphones, and if you're on YouTube, you can see this. If not, I'm going to explain it. You can set them up in an XY pattern like this. You can set up in an ORTF pattern as well. But the one I used for this was actually a bloom line pattern. So one mic goes on top, and it faces the other mic at a 45-degree angle, and then I angled them over the drum set like this.
And those are the real names. People are not making this stuff up.
Yeah, no, we're not making this stuff up. That is an XY pattern, an ORTF pattern, the French version, and then finally
the French version. And this is the non-French version, and this is the French version.
Yes, I'm a total nerd about this stuff. I love it. So we use the bloom line thing here. So the stereo separation is a little bit different, but the warmness of the drum set, I'm loving. Mainly because the ribbon microphones tend to pick up those lower frequencies a little bit better. So I feel like there's a little more body on the snare. I even feel like it adds something to the bass drum as well. So let's listen to that one more time. Here are the ribbon mics one more time, overheads. And here it is with the condenser microphone.
Cool.
Really, they're both great sounds. For the purpose of this test, and since we're talking about ribbons, I'm going to say I like the ribbon microphone version better.
Yeah, but you have to add EQ to a ribbon microphone, right?
You do. And that's the thing. Ribbon microphones take EQ very, very gently, very well. And so we're going to do the same thing here, but we're going to now add in EQ to the ribbon mic to get some of that shininess back up on top, the brittleness. Not really brittle. I don't think it sounds brittle. I think it sounds a little more sparkly.
You're backtracking. You need to apologize for what you just said.
I would like to apologize to all the
I am
ribbon
sorry
microphone owners.
To the microphone owners out there.
For the comments that I have made, for my behavior, for the tuna and jelly sandwich I ate for lunch.
Oh my gosh. Please stop paying me.
Please stop coming to my shows.
All right, no, don't stop paying me. I messed it up.
Please pay me. All right, here it is. And I'm going to cycle through just as they play.
You have it on? EQ on?
EQ is off right now. So here we go.
Turn EQ on.
We're going to start with it off so you can hear the difference.
Oh.
Dude, can I please run my segment?
No.
This is what it's like in every aspect of our lives. All right, here we go. This is with no EQ. And here's the EQ now. And again, off. And then on one more time.
So tell us what you did for the EQ there.
So with the EQ, I just did a high shelf, and the numbers here. Looking at the numbers, I've got it. I boosted at about 41 hertz, 41 kilohertz, and
a shelf.
Yep, a shelf, and then and I boosted about 6.2 decibels. That's the thing I find with ribbon mics is like if I boost or cut, it's a lot. I gotta like crank it a bit. So don't be afraid of that if you're working on that.
Don't be afraid of the crank.
Of course, my EQ settings are always all over the place. I'm never like, well, the standard practice is to do this and that. I'm always like, crank it all the way up. Oh, that's too much. Bring it down a little bit. Oh, that's nice. Let's leave it there. What's it at? 15 decibels? I don't care. Let's keep going. That's how I roll.
Whatever works. Yo.
Well, I think this one works. Anyways, these microphones are great. I love them. If you want to pick up a pair of these, I think the set cost around $700. And you can buy them modded as well. They will mod them at the place for you.
Which is so funny that they will mod them for you.
Yeah, instead of just offering it with the transformer as a stock option.
But if you order now through the Talking About Noise website, we will give them to you for a special introductory price of $1,500. $1,500.
It sounds like so much work to set up.
Yeah, I guess it does. Just go buy it.
All right, just go buy it at Cascade.com, I think. Maybe that might be the company that makes the little pellets for the dishwasher. So don't buy it from go find, just look up Fathead.
Just Google Fathead.
That's right.
And you'll find it.
All right. Okay, moving on.
We need to put your Mafia case away, Art.
Oh, I'm just going to edit this stuff out.
Because it looks so cool?
Yeah.
It does, doesn't it? See, watch, and it click. Oh, that click.
Nice.
Oh, just beautiful.
Goodbye, microphones.
Yeah, he talks to his microphones. Picks of the week.
Sleep.
So this segment is designed
Sleepy.
to support artists that we have come to love during the week or find mildly amusing or relatively entertaining or incredibly entertaining or whatever you want. Anyway. Oh,
what are you doing there?
I accidentally hit play on my phone.
We're an audio production podcast, and you're sitting here going like, "Hey, let me play my musical example."
Yeah,
through the
microphone.
That's funny.
Art, That's the kind of music production I'm into. See, I hold the microphone 20 feet away from people, and they're like, why didn't it record?
Okay, so
Speak louder,
I have to rant on this just a little bit. Sorry, people. But there was a award show last night. What was it? The Billboards.
Oh, I was going to talk
the
about
Billboards.
the
yeah,
Billboard
we talked about. We never did, but they had the Billboard's Music Awards, and every time they have any kind of award show, they have those little microphones that come up, right? Yeah. And I was telling my wife this. I was like, these people are professional recording artists. They know what microphones look like. They use them every day. They use them nonstop. And they sit back very far, and they're like, I'd like to welcome, or I'd like to award this thing to Justin Bieber, or whatever it is, right? Okay. And so they're so far back off. And now we get into the other issue that we had in the news with the BBC is that when you have the microphone so far off, the gain gets cranked, but it starts picking up all this white noise because the signal floor has to come up, and you just end up with this hiss that's just terrible. Anyways,
Art's rant.
Just give them 2 handheld microphones. They know how to hold them. It's not like this isn't a big deal. Why do we have to be so bad at this? We do, 7, 8, 9 of these a year? Come on, people.
Or we could just ask the question, why do we have all these award shows? They're so bad.
Well,
they're
okay.
so bad.
Different issue. But yes, I agree. Why?
So,
why?
One of my cousins?
You have a cousin?
Nieces?
Mises?
Something. Anyway, someone I'm related to somewhere did a countdown. Was like 5 days until Britney Spears performs at the Billboard Awards. 4 days.
Oh, yeah.
And then she'd go through and like post all of the past performances. I cannot wait for Britney Spears to perform.
I don't know if that's sad or not. Maybe it's just like happiness.
Okay, that's great.
She's still relevant. She's like Madonna. She's never not going to be relevant.
Apparently, it was a great performance to critics. I was like, it's all right.
All right. Well, let's get back to the unsung heroes of the music world.
Let's talk about our picks of the week. Okay, I'm going first.
Yes.
If that's okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to steal you. Okay. The Strumbellas.
Strumbellas.
It's awesome. The song is called Spirits. Cool band.
Cool.
Listen. Yeah, we're going to give a little sample.
Yeah,
here we go.
Sample.
Ready?
Go.
I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. I got guns in my head and they won't go. Spirits in my head and they won't go. When the gun still rattles, the gun still rattles. Oh, I got guns in my head.
The Strumbellas. I feel like you have to say that with a a fake accent.
A fake accent?
Fake accent.
Yeah, you might need to.
Strumbellas.
The Strumbellas.
They're awesome. Anyway, I enjoyed their album, so
cool.
Check it out.
Definitely want to look at. My pick of the week this week, and man, I'm going to mess this up, and her name and how to say it. It's called Danny Sacone, I want to say.
Chichone.
All right, we're going to put the name down here. Don't go off of my
She have 3 albums? Is that 3 albums?
No, I think it's an EP and a couple of singles.
Oh.
So, but
wow.
this one is a great song. I was listening to her and I was just like, man, this sounds really, really good. I wonder what she's doing. And so I looked her up. Anyways, great song. This one is called, what is this called again? Later in the Sea. So kind of an interesting idea here. Listen to it.
I'll give it time and wait for it to float on by. 'Cause if it's meant to be mine, it'll come my way. Free a feather into the summer breeze.
I always love when we play clips and then it just like blows my eardrums out.
We don't know how loud it's going to be.
And we're an audio podcast.
I got to figure this out. Sorry, people.
That was so funny.
Anyways, I think she's great.
Yeah, sounds really good.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
Sounds fun and happy and
Fluffy,
just,
happy, flighty, fun.
Skipping down the sidewalk to go to the lake. That's what I feel like this song is about.
I'm all for it.
Maybe it's not. Maybe it's about death and destruction. I don't think so.
Actually,
So.
how funny would that be if the lyrics were like, "You are a zombie, I'm going to cut your head off."
You are a zombie and I'm gonna kill you. You are something like that.
But it's not. It's only a metaphor, and she's really talking about her boyfriend.
Or her like inner struggle with, okay, shut up. We're going to move on. All right, folks, you can catch us at talkingaboutnoise.blogspot.com. You can email us at talkingaboutnoise@gmail.com. I am on Twitter and Instagram at Artmore Studios. Eric is on Twitter at I Am The Swoop. And that's about it. We're also on Facebook, but we're just not doing a lot with Facebook. And, we're just on YouTube. Go to YouTube. Check out our channel.
Yeah.
Just look up Talking About Noise audio show. And we have like 2 channels we got to fix. We got to figure out what's going on with the other channel. We probably will just delete the old shows from there.
Do it.
Figure all that
Do
stuff
it.
up. Anyway, shout out real quick to John Tidy of the Reaper blog, who mentioned that he was on the show like 20 episodes ago, and he totally was. He didn't lie. And we're just, thankful for that. Share us with your friends. If
We
you
should put that
like
on.
what we're doing.
He's an actual friend of the podcast.
He is a friend of the real life, actual, not joking around friend of the podcast.
Not a Kanye West friend of the podcast.
Not a Demi Lovato Kanye West friend of the podcast. He is
Demi
a true
Lovato Kanye West.
He is a true friend of the podcast, but he is doing fantastic stuff over there with the Reaper blog. If you use Reaper, and you should because we do, it is fantastic and a great resource.
We don't judge you, right? We are Reaperists, and that's fine. We like our lifestyle. If you're an Ableton person, we don't judge. We like that too.
I'm taking the Trump approach. Reaper only. Build the wall. Get everyone else out of here.
No one else. If you use Logic, you're done.
You're done.
If you use FL Studio, you're done.
Especially FL Studio. What is the deal with FL Studio? I downloaded that
Tools,
thing.
done.
I tried to use FL Studio. Could not figure out the first thing about it. So I got some personal issues with FL Studio. I'm going to work out.
You look at it, you're like, where's the play button? How do I play? I just want to play.
I didn't understand what the opening thing was, right? And I was trying to get to like a DAW track window, and I could just never get there or add tracks, or it just.
Did you watch maybe a tutorial or read the?
So that's how we're doing this. This is all my fault. Blame the victim. That's who you are.
Pretty much.
I'm totally kidding.
Pretty much, Art. I'm going to go with that.
It's like those people who are like, man, I didn't know how to be a parent. It's not like they write a manual for this thing,
What? And you're like, I think they do. The problem is you.
I think there's a ton of parent books out there.
And I'm pretty sure you're the issue.
Anyway, folks, this has gone on too long. I'm stopping it right here. Thank you. Please share our show. We don't have a marketing budget. We don't have a budget at all. In fact, I mean, we're just doing this. So we need your help.
But
share the show. Share it on Facebook. Share it on Twitter.
Once I
share
start
it on
my
Instagram.
live show and I become a rock star,
I'm going to ride that gravy train all the way. We're going to do live shows and do all kinds of fun stuff.
That's right.
And go on tour together, talking about. You'll play. We'll talk.
Okay, so I'll
make
do
it
like
happen.
I'll play like a local bar, and we'll start up and be like, "Hey, live from Madrid, welcome live from LA." We'll be like,
Oh yeah, sure. Whatever you want to do,
pretend we're
weirdo.
from- Okay.
Lying on the internet ever worked? Oh wait,
You're
actually,
right.
it works
That's
all
true.
the time.
Actually.
People fall for stuff all the time. Anyway, we are out of
That's
here.
it.
Please share
Go.
us, and we'll talk to you later.